Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently unloading our crew here, and these two we need to transfer. So let's see if this actually works. I restarted the game and yeah, it works absolutely fine now. Fantastic. All it required was a game restart. For a second there I thought I might have to stop recording the episode and fiddle with this for a while, but luckily not a thing. So let's hop on out of here and let's make sure that you get boarded. I think we've still got space inside of the pad here. If I remember correctly, we've got space for one more Kerbal in the pad. So let's just, okay, you can fall over after a low speed impact. That's fine. Let's just hop on in here. Okay, grab on and we will board. There we go. So we're now in the Duna base. We've got one more Kerbal to move over. And my question is, if we show the UI here for this base, and we select one of these pads. There it is. The Habitation module. So we can see that that is 0.2% done with 4 additional days to go on it. That's interesting. So that's building pretty quickly. For one thing. Another thing I'm wondering is, are we making rocket parts at this time? The answer is yes, we are indeed making rocket parts. We're just consuming them faster than we're making them. Okay, so with that in mind, our next question is, do we have enough life support right now for this amount of crew? And yes, I know that we have some damaged parts up here. It's a bit of a mess in some of these areas, but it's fine for now. So we need to determine if we have enough life support, but before we do that, let's have Frandis hop on out of here. Any moment. There you go. Okay, so we're going to hop on out, and Frandis is going to need to hop in here. Now, I believe we still have space for a couple of additional crew members here, but we're going to have a whole lot more space soon. So let's just head on over. And we're just going to park right about here. This is, sure, that works. Not exactly what I was aiming for, but it's fine. So we just need to hop in here and that'll be perfect. So we'll just grab on and climb up a little bit. There we go. Now we can board. So everybody's here now, and now if we hop in here and show UI and select pad 1, so there we can see we're building that habitation module, and we're about 0.25% done. This is going to take 4 days to build, which honestly, that's not very long. That is a whole lot faster than shipping it from Kerbin. Like, to an absurd degree. So that's perfect. That's what we're angling for here. We're looking for some self-sustaining capabilities, right? So that's absolutely perfect. We're very happy about that. Where are we going to put the habitation module? That's a question we need to ask. I'm currently thinking maybe back over here, but we'll see. The real question here is, do we have sufficient life support right now? We probably have enough to last us a good long time. But I want to check in here so we can see that our wastewater is going up. We should be absolutely fine on water. I'm not concerned about water right now. Our fertilizer, we know that we spec'd to be, well, this. Our fertilizer will be okay. That's not a concern. So with that in mind, our oxygen is maxed, and our food is maxed at this time. So let's go ahead and warp forward a little bit. And I want to see if those are remaining maxed. Our electric charge is holding. That's decent. Our scrap metal is going up at this moment. That's absolutely fine. We're going to smelt these over into rocket parts. We can see we are consuming rocket parts, but it's at a very low rate, actually. So that's a very good sign. Okay, so here we are on 10x speed. And what I'm looking for is for our food dropping. But our food is holding. Food is holding, oxygen is holding, water is holding. This is indicating to me that we are absolutely fine as far as life support goes. We do not require additional life support for the amount of Kerbals that we have here. That's good, because I didn't actually spec this for this number of Kerbals. But if we hop in here, we can see our vessel productivity is now at about 2.5. And I want to... Can we not show UI while warping? That's interesting. We are going to have a bit of a physics kick here. That's actually not too bad. And to be honest, I loaded up the game here without turning on unbreakable joints and no crash damage, which, to be clear, is on right now. But I loaded up the game without turning those on, and nothing blew up. So that's a really good sign, actually. That's a really good sign. Now, we could ditch this sky crane over here. It's definitely something we could do, but I kind of want to keep the solar panels. So for the moment, I think we're keeping it. So what I want to do now is I want to show UI here, and I want to select pad 1. And we can see, as we know, this is going to take about 4 days to get this completed. So I want to work our way through that, and I want to get this habitation module done. So let's warp forward a little bit here so we can see, yeah, we're over 0.5% done now. This is at 50x speed. This is at 100x speed. I'm looking at our rocket part consumption. It's barely consuming rocket parts. So we can basically be building here as much as we want. But do we need anything after this habitation module? I mean, we can always bring more Kerbals and expand this. Like I said previously, at this point, this is becoming a really, really janky physics-driven city builder. So, and very slow city builder. So we can just continue to design modules. We could expand it, bring more Kerbals, maybe have some sort of a Kerbal breeding program that we start up in theory. I don't know. But my question is, what exactly is the point? This series has been going on for a very, very long time. So maybe we just need to wrap this up at this point, now that we've hit a period or a point of self-sustainability. Everything that this base needs can now be sourced here. We don't need to do any additional flights here, which kind of defeats the purpose of Kerbal Space Program, right? I'm going to bump this up to 1000x speed here because this is going still pretty slow. But yeah, at this point, this is, I think we're going to probably call this the final episode. I wasn't actually expecting that, but I think we're going to call this the final episode of Surviving Duna. Duna has been survived at this point. We're going to get our habitation module built so that these guys have a house. And then we're probably going to need to do some Kraken taming because of the wheels. But that's absolutely a-okay. I don't mind it. We're about 25% done with this at this point, and here's another question that I have. It's nighttime now. Or will be. It's nighttime now. Is our electric charge going to hold through the night? I don't know. We'll find out. That's going to be very interesting. Also, Ike is moving very slowly. Very, very slowly. It's just hanging out. That's kind of wild. I'd never noticed that before. I don't think it's quite a geosynchronous orbit, or it wouldn't be geosynchronous, it would be like Duna synchronous. I don't think it's quite that. Yeah, it's definitely going down on the horizon, but it's really slow. That's cool. I like that. So, at this point, we are almost halfway through our stored electric charge. With the real question being, how long is the night going to last? And that answers the question. We're good. Electric charge lasts through the night. So no problem there. Yeah. We're entirely 100% self-sufficient at this point. We can build everything we need here, and it's just a matter of waiting for this bar to fill out. Of course, there's always going to be the potential risk that we do an expansion and we don't have enough life support and things hit the fan, you know, that's always a possibility. But to be honest, with how quickly we're able to build this habitation module, I think it's fine. This is 4 days. We're unlikely to run into too significant problems in 4 days. And even then, if our Kerbals dry out and turn into desiccated husks, we would have to send another Kerbal to come rehydrate them. But we would automatically fill up on food, oxygen, and air as they turn into desiccated husks. So it would be fully functional by the time another Kerbal got here. Okay, we are about to finish up this habitation module. We're 4 minutes away at this point from finishing this module. So let's warp forward a little bit further here. We don't need to go far. Okay, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Okay, now we're about 40 seconds. I don't want to be in warp when this finishes because I can't remember if we need to deploy this thing onto the pad or if it just appears. And if it just appears, being in warp could be problematic. I'm going to make a save here just in case, and we'll see how this ends up working. But we've got about 30 seconds here. And we can see, yeah, we did eat up some of our rocket parts doing that. But to be honest, we've got so many in storage still. So, yeah, we're not going to be able to constantly build. That's definitely not the case. We're definitely not able to do that. But we could expand our workshop very, very easily by just building ourselves the module, right? We'd have to go and modify it because it's currently set up for being brought in from Kerbin. We'd have to go modify it to just kind of appear on the surface the way it's going to. But that's fine. So we've got about 10 seconds left on this construction. 4 days. I was expecting construction of a full module to be a lot slower than 4 days. This is a very viable colony. Surprisingly so. Very surprisingly so. Well, we're going to have this done in 5, 4, 3, 2. These are slow seconds. 1. And 0. It is now complete. Okay, so it looks like we have to... It dropped us back out of warp automatically, and it looks like we have to finalize the build. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Let's go ahead and do so. Okay. So that's all well and good. That is there now. And if we go into pad 1, it's currently got the habitation module on it. It looks like the habitation module is not physics enabled, potentially, as of right now. So let's see about, do we need to switch to the module there? Oh, we should probably shut down this engine. That would probably be useful. Let's go ahead and do that. And then do we switch to it like this? That's the crew delivery system. That's the Duna base. Okay, so that's not how we do that. In which case, maybe we do it via the UI. So, okay, yeah, we need to hit this release button. Done. So now the physics are enabled on this, and it automatically switched to it for us. That's nice. So let's go ahead and have our target extension on these hydraulic cylinders be brought up. Oh, we don't currently have any way to control this. We need a pilot in it. That's fine, of course. We have pilots here. So let's go grab a pilot. It doesn't matter who. You are all engineers and scientists. Billy Bobcot's an engineer. Pabus is a pilot. You'll do. Okay, so Pabus is out of the back greenhouse. Noted. So let's hop on out over here, and Pabus will need to climb aboard. And I also have a bit of a concern about power here. We might have to move a couple of solar panels over to it, because I didn't really plan for this very well. That's, of course, my own fault. I should have. Papus is going to ricochet right on off of here. Perfect. Well done, Papus. I was mashing the F key to grab on, but it didn't happen, sadly. Let's try that again, Papus. But yeah, I don't think there's... Well, there might be some electric charge on here. I don't know that there's actually enough. And it's nighttime right now, but that's okay. So let's just grab on here. There's not going to be life support here. If we hop in, Papus is going to instantly die. Right? Hang on. I gotta check that. No, there is life support here. We should be fine on that. So life support isn't a concern. Power is. So go ahead and board Papus, and we do see that we have 900 electric charge here. Okay, so let's extend out our hydraulic cylinders here. So that we can get this thing moving. And we can update these to use the more recent wheels if we really wanted to. It's probably not a bad idea. Okay, so now we're just going to roll right on off of here. I'm not doing anything in terms of the actual acceleration at this time. Okay. This is very effective in its turning. Like, surprisingly so. Although I think we're going to have a bit of a clipping issue here. So we're going to need to back up and turn the opposite direction like this. We just don't quite have the turning radius to pull that off. But yeah, look at how much electric charge we're eating up here. That's the concern at this point. To be clear, it's not a big problem. If we eat up too much electric charge, then we can very, very simply grab some solar panels from elsewhere, or just grab this battery. That's also a possibility. Okay, let's see if we can get this out and around. But we're definitely going to be on a bit of a power budget, so we're going to have to be a bit cautious. I'm going to build up a bit of speed going this way. I'm just watching that electric charge. And the idea is to target this Clampatron docking port. Okay, so I'm going to start turning here. But this is going to probably... Oh, that's very, very sensitive. Do we have reaction wheels in this? We do. I'm going to turn off the reaction wheels. I do not want to drain that power. Okay. So that looks good. I actually think we have enough power to do this. It's kind of wild. But we're doing well on the power. Especially now that we turned those reaction wheels off, which halved our power drain. That's excellent. So I want to bypass this pretty far here. We're going to have to take a fairly wide circle. I'm not sure where we're controlling from. Although it shouldn't be very different. If we control from here... that's definitely changing some stuff. Okay. Let's make our way around. And unfortunately, that control point change did definitely break a little bit. So we're just going to make our way around this way. I need to build up a little speed here. Okay. Now we're going to turn. There we go. And we need to go kind of straight at this point. And then we're going to have to make another turn here momentarily. But we want to wait until we're relatively in line here. Go. Well, we're relatively in line. I don't know how accurate this is going to be. I think we maybe overshot a little bit, but we can probably correct that. Actually, this is pretty good. So just put ourselves about... Ooh, that's very sensitive. This thing builds up a lot of turning momentum, so I just have to be cautious with it. But we've got plenty of electric charge, so that's not a concern. Okay, I'm turning the brakes on, although the brakes are not very powerful, so I think we need to run the motor in reverse. And as we can see, we're too high off the ground by a fairly wide margin. So we're going to need to drop this down. I'm going to put it for now at 0.4, and we're just going to do these on opposite sides, like this. And then the next step here, of course, would be to bring in one of these junctions and probably design a delivery system for one of those junctions, but I don't, strictly speaking, think that's necessary right now, so I don't think we're going to do that in this series. I'll leave that as an exercise to the viewer, we'll say. Okay, how's this for height? We still need to drop a little bit further, maybe like 0.3? Maybe only on the front side, though. Okay, now this is obviously going to have some physics issues when we bring this in, right? There's no doubt about that. I want to control from here. And the question is, which direction is which? Okay, this looks approximately correct. Ish. Approximately correct-ish. Ish. Okay, so we didn't get docked there, and wait, it's docked. And of course, Krakening. This is not a surprise, and what we need to do right now is deal with the Kraken. So I'm trying to grab these. Okay, that'll help matters anyway. Target extension down to nil for all of them. It's kind of in the way there. Okay. Let's move the Smart ASS back down here. And let's do this. Okay. That should theoretically solve the Kraken-ish. For now. But we've still got a little bit of work to do here. Because we need an engineer, and I'm going to use Billy Bobcott for this. We need an engineer to get in there. So at this point, I want to also transfer Pabus. So we need to transfer crew, Pabus. And I want to... Hello? Where am I? Okay, transfer crew. Want to transfer this to here. Can't. Okay. Well, that's fine. We can EVA Pabus. It's not the end of the world. So Pabus, why don't you go ahead and EVA, and we'll get you on out of there. There we go. And you can let go, and we just need to run Pabus over to here. Yeah, we've got some issues going on here with our wheels. Once we unload this and reload it, there's going to be significant issues. But Pabus needs to go back to her station, which is over here. Everybody's going to live in that habitation module, but they are not going to work in the habitation module. Okay, so go ahead and grab this and climb aboard. Perfect. Now let's get Billy Bobcott out here, because Billy Bobcott has a screwdriver. Okay, Billy Bobcott, I'm going to need you to employ that screwdriver. Wait, what are you doing, Billy Bobcott? Do you have a screwdriver? No, Billy Bobcott does not have a screwdriver. It must be Bill that has the screwdriver then. Get back in there. Okay. Who is it that has the screwdriver? Is it Bill? Let's find out. Someone here has a screwdriver, and we need to use it. It's Bill. Okay, so Bill has the screwdriver. I see it in his hand, and we're just going to head on over here because we need to get rid of these terrible, terrible parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up over here. I'm going to detach at the base here. So I just want to detach the, if I can grab it here, the cubic octagonal strut. Well, that's inauspicious. Why is this all still connected? There we go. That's what I want. Okay, we'll do that. And we'll do the same thing over here. Looks like we need to detach, not the wheel. Okay, that's going to orbit. And we'll detach this. There we go. And then we will detach right here. And then right here. That's much easier to do it that way. So then we'll hop up over here, and we can untrack these parts to keep it nice and clean. But there we go. We'll get that one done, and that one. Excellent. That's crackening off a little bit, but it should be absolutely fine here. Kraken is handled. No more will the Kraken be an issue. Wonderful. Well, that, at this point, I think we can say is the colony completed. It is now fully self-sufficient, and Bill is going to have a hard time getting up here. He just does not have the momentum that he needs. Okay, there we go. Now he can climb back. Oh, something blew up over there. That's interesting. I don't know what that was. But it shouldn't have blown up because we have unbreakable joints and no crash damage on. So, that was exciting. Maybe that was that wheel? I don't know. Regardless, it doesn't matter. This base is self-sufficient. All of our Kerbals have jobs. All of our Kerbals have housing. They can build additional modules for themselves. Life support is sorted, and we have basically infinite materials at this point, and time is the only constraint. So I'm going to call this series completed at this point. This base is self-sufficient and ready to grow. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.